Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the book launch for Vanessa, Jimenez, Gabb here at Malvern Books. Thank you to Malvern for letting us use this space. So we have 4 readers tonight. My name is Sebastian Paramo. I'm an editor at the Boiler Journal. I made it here from Dallas, but 3 of our readers here tonight have been featured in the Boiler Journal, and I'm very happy to celebrate their work. They all have books here for sale. Ryan's is sold out though, unfortunately. But Ryan's going to be our first reader though. So we'll just get started. It's going to be very kind of loose, but we're here to celebrate everyone's book and work here. So let's get started. So Ryan Bender Murphy's chapbook, First Man on Mars, was published by Phantom Books in 2013. His other work has recently been published in Better, The Boiler, Cartridge Lit, Country Music, and others. And he started a journal called Hardly Doughnuts. Please welcome Ryan.
Thank you. Always see me. Vanishing can be its own recipe for disaster. You end up leaving a cloud of smoke when you go, and this smoke drifts throughout the city, first to a group of elementary students at recess. They cough excessively, and a teacher writes an email to the parents about the incident. The teacher crafts the email so delicately that he misses a happy hour meeting with his friends. Instead, he takes the long way home, slugging a few beers at a bar near his apartment, chatting up the other half of himself as he watches some sports game on the TV that is meaningless to him. But the cloud you left behind continues, and after it moves through the kiddos, it steers through downtown traffic, obscuring a cyclist in his bike lane from a driver who wants to turn right now. The cloud is not quite finished. It trails over the river. A few workers turn from their computers and point out the window to the river with a layer of smoke gliding over it. They ask if maybe there's a fire, or they don't even know. Elsewhere, some start searching for answers, checking news sites and texting everybody. They talk about it with their friends at dinner later, stuffing enormous sushi pieces into their mouths. The mist machine turns on in the back of the restaurant, and for a second, one of them looks, hoping. Wrong turn. Put the phone in my mouth, he said, lying on a wooden table. I stood in a cabin on the top of a mountain. Bats flew all around, and lightning struck the same tree until it disintegrated into a pile of ash. You think what it means to love a machine? To have your heart bursting from your chest? What? I asked. The man jerked his face to me, like a monster in an old horror movie just awakened to life. Put the phone in my mouth, he said, enunciating each word. The look in the man's eyes was enough for me to remove my cell phone from my pocket, which had spotty reception anyway, and slowly push it beyond his lips. His wife sat on a rocking chair, redistributing her lineup for a final fantasy football league. Deeper, screamed the man. As the phone fully entered his mouth, I could see my best friend had sent me a text message. We drove separately to a party because he wanted to meet up with the girl and possibly take her out for drinks afterwards. I hadn't driven in at least 2 weeks. Now the man slobbered on the phone. The device was too big. I could tell that his breathing became troubled. I tried to remove my phone, but he pushed me away. When something lets you go, you must never return. That is love. His wife rocked in the chair, the white light of the screen covering her face. I swatted the man's hands away and pulled my phone out of his mouth. The saliva only touched the case, which could be easily replaced. I called my friend, who answered his phone amazingly fast. "I think I took a wrong turn at some point," I said, batting the man away from the phone like I had an affair to keep under wraps. "Okay, well, I should be there in 10 minutes. I didn't say goodbye to anyone." Night friction. These days, I peer through the lenses of any machine, any device that can get me closer to the heart of something. When I leave the elevator, a wave of rats runs around me, like the remnants of a massive flood, and I look down at the world with a pair of binoculars. In the distance, a boy flies via hang glider, and the sun glows its final brightness before I can again face your photo on my cracked cell phone. The boy grins as the wind carries him beyond the tallest skyscrapers, which slowly transform into a scattered collection of bright cubes. Some people watch TV. Others sit on couches with their computers. There are dinner parties and garbage everywhere, inside and out. The rats run off the roof of the building, banding together to create a single layer of fur. And for a moment, they seem to be slowly descending and ascending, gliding even. Intervention. I'm sleeping in a movie theater because the film is possibly the worst I've ever seen. But I promised my friend I'd watch it with him. In this deep sleep, I see a ghost with its eyes bright as July. The ghost says, "You're a liar. You're a terrible friend. How will you have the after-movie discussion if your eyes are shut, if you have dozed off?" The ghost hovers closer to me in some ethereal plane that resembles an old video game. There are cobwebs or bits of code that have laid dormant for far too long, and a dark end to everything if one walks into the horizon. I agree. I'm a terrible friend, but only in this moment, right? And this terribleness will pass, and probably not really be that big of a deal, eh? The ghost turns 360 degrees, and its ghastly bottom swirls like a beautiful dress worn by a beautiful person. Do you disagree, I ask, partially trying to decode whatever the ghost just did, which made the etherealness of the situation all the more real. What matters if you are terrible now or terrible later? Does not a single instance of terribleness make you such? The ghost asks. And the plane's gridded lines begin to glow. Look, I'm just a guy who likes making people happy, but at the same time making myself happy. Can I just do both? You know, come to the movie but sleep during the film? I'm here for my friend, and if something scares him or gets crazy, he can just grab my arm. Normally I listen to people. I let cyclists go first at stop signs. I call my parents at least once a week. I floss. The ghost puts its hand out to me. I look at its translucent fingers, more like triangular nubs, and don't break my gaze until the ghost responds. After a while, the geometric plane disappears, ghost and all, and everything becomes incredibly bright. My friend taps my shoulder and says that the movie is over because of technical difficulties. Some kind of law. I wanted to own something that knew I owned it, so I walked into the fog. Every time I heard a voice or a cry, I walked closer, deeper. I could see glowing red eyes, and people wearing masks of various animal faces approached me, grunting, squealing like they all had forgotten what it means to be alive. Someone ironing $30 dress pants while watching reruns of a favorite crime show, Bones. They put their hands out to me, an ominous gesture, but I had my purpose. I told them all to sit on the floor and shut up. They obeyed, sitting on the damp pavement, not making any more sounds. "Don't move," I said. Stay, don't go. As you knew me, foisted on these floating pieces of luggage, you expected that I would return one day in the pouring rain, with an umbrella covering me. You hoped to run beneath the torrent, find me in a spell, and your gigantic house's door would remain open for a few moments, heat leaving the kitchen and curling around us in our very own heat. 2 heats to make 1. That's how you imagine my return. But not everything combines. Not everything can stay in the same place for a long period of time. There was no return because from the moment I stepped on dry land, you stepped backwards from yourself. Each of my advances was your advance in the opposite direction. The luggage remained on me, like my body grabbed the suitcases and bags with its own magnetism. Buckles clipped open and clothing fell out, but then remained tacked on at the end of some gravitational pull. The clothes dirtied as they trailed me, like animals without a home, hungry as ever, and the zippers chattered in the wind. These were our belongings. These were what we used to pack ourselves into new states. Travel from one zip code to the next. Travel until you don't even feel the ground beneath you. That was our motto. But one day I got stuck. I sat in a pond and felt a cool breeze move against my ears. I thought you were blowing me a kiss. I stayed in the waters, maybe for hours, and you kept telling me to get out. After a while, after kicking the cattails nearby and throwing our entire luggage into the waters, you took the car keys and drove away. When the handle of one of our suitcases bumped into my back, I realized that you had left. You had your own way of creating the world. Just a couple more. Blunt trauma. But am I each of the 37 people you hate at a restaurant, you say, standing at the edge of the castle, water gurgling beneath the drawbridge? There are 37 different people, I ask, rifling through my 4 backpacks for a potion that will turn me into a werewolf. Just look at this one, the couple that eavesdrops on other tables. You leap onto the wooden planks, shaking the bridge beneath us. What does it say? You know who you are. You're the couple that has nothing to say and remains quiet for 45 minutes, listening to what others talk about. Don't be creeping on everyone else to feel like you have a life. I drink the green liquid and my body instantly changes into werewolf form. I'm more muscular, like I've done a fad core building program for months. And fur shoots from my skin, tufts everywhere. I slide my clawed finger across my teeth, very sharp. Seems a bit harsh. Do you think we do that? Remember last week when we ate at the ramen place with the communal seating? You stop jumping and pull out your bow and arrow, targeting one of the guards at the entrance to the castle. Yeah, we were quiet that night, but I was tired from work, you know? Shoot. The arrow flies right into the guard, disappearing into oblivion, and he advances with his buddy. What's another person on the list? I ask, ripping into the guard's buddy as you fire arrows in rapid succession. Blood flies to the moon. This one bothers me too. The person who takes pictures of his or her food. Both guards swing their sabers at us, but within seconds they fall. We remove the cloth and loose change from their bodies and move into the castle. Oh yeah, that's definitely you. What's wrong with that? Just listen to what it says. We get it. Your 5 friends online are eager to comment on a photo you took at a mid-level sushi place. But put the phone down. You aren't on Good Morning America. Within the castle, I see a few more guards at the entry corridor. You continue asking, do I really take too many photos? I pace around the entrance, thrilled to have extra speed in my werewolf body, and go full force into the 2 guards, running around them as I slowly claw them to death. The lowlife. There's nowhere to go from here but up. That's life at the center of the earth. People send me emails telling me they need to make it to the top. A picnic basket and some coupons are waiting. Someone even made me a scarf. It all sounds nice, but I have a little itch to go deeper. I know the researchers wanted to learn more about the chemical deposits or minerals or whatever is at the Earth's core. And several of them had read a lot of sci-fi novels, so they had hopes of me uncovering some monster. Look, I'm happy. Before I was alive, I was in Cleveland doing push-ups all the time. I did them so much I thought there'd be 2 of me at some point. Maybe that's how we got all the creatures in the universe. But look, I'm not coming up. That little pickaxe you gave me, kind of as a joke, remember? Well, I'm cracking open the core, and when I do, I'm going down, way down. And even if it's just enough for my big toe to touch the lowest part of Earth, I'll do it. I'll be the thing that holds the world together. There's one more. Domestic flight. An escalator leads to the stairwell in a large office building downtown. I'm running up the stairwell, and men in suits are charging after me. The entire world is tinted green, like my eyes have been hued for St. Patty's Day. It's from these motions that the dream of being a bachelor ends, and each step on the stairwell, a colossal task for my untested thighs, for my hand gripping the rail, is a flash into a suburban neighborhood. Stop right there, the men shout at first, and their voices remind me of a parent chastising a child, one whom I may produce, one whom I, now running for my life, seemingly, would love to have. They wave their guns when I look down at them from my higher step. Don't make us fire. A campsite manifests in my mind, where I hold an acoustic guitar and sit on a tree stump. Stephanie, the future child, eyes her cell phone as I strum a few chords, and Jessica, the prospective wife, sips her IPA, intent on turning her marshmallow into a charred planet. The building is endless, story upon story, and I continue running, forgetting why I entered the stairwell in the first place. Fatigue overrides my senses, and layers of sweat run down my back, dampening my white t-shirt and track shorts, dripping from my forehead onto my running shoes. One bulb slides from the slant of my nose to a concrete step. Rain falls on a Saturday afternoon in summer, and Jessica and I run around the backyard, kicking mud at each other, throwing it even. Clumps smack into our faces, mixing with the rain as we become bathed in soil and flecks of grass. Stephanie records our slinging with her cell phone from the sliding door at the patio until we throw chunks at the window. Thump, thump. She shouts, "Really?" Although we cannot hear it, her mouth animates it effectively. "I'm telling you for the last time, I will fire," her voice says. And the loud rattle in the stairwell makes me realize that I am still running, that there are at least 5 more floors. Why is my MP3 player attached to my arm? Why are these earbuds dangling around my neck? All right, thank you.